A lot of folks think that actually getting in shape is carnality or absolute carnality. And I've heard that school of thought before. I've heard people who see it that way. But they forget that getting fit, getting lean, and let me phrase it, getting lean in particular is a spiritual journey. And why I say so is food becomes an obstacle that you must learn absolute mastery. You must have absolute mastery of food, and which is also in line with spirituality, finding God. Because I recall there were those days as someone who was seeking the face of God, and I realized that for me to ascend, for me to be spiritually sensitive, I had to let go of my fleshy desires. And one of them was food. I learned how to fast in my pursuits, in my consecration that was required of me as a sojourner. I think it's called sojourner, someone who is on a journey or something like that. So I was in a journey, and I'm still in a journey. The journey never ends as long as breath is still in your lungs. The journey never ends as a full-blown disciple of Jesus. And I knew food was a thing. I had to let go of my cravings of food. I had to say no to my desire for food, and which is almost similar with getting lean, because at some point you have to say no to a lot of types of food that is very, very appetizing to your palate, to your tongue. You start to say no to a lot of food. When I was still, but in this spiritual journey, I ate anything I wanted to eat because I never understood that food itself was fuel, and I had to fuel my body with quality food and not eating food that could cause decay to my body. And I was eating food that caused decay to my body without even knowing. You see, when you are getting lean, there are meals and foods you never would want to get close to because they don't have life. What they have is death. Because when I see sugar, let me use processed sugar, it is death. It causes decay, absolute decay of your temple. And that is where I started to recognize that, wow, this is actually spiritual. If you really want to get lean, because when you start to let go of the inferior food and feed your temple with God's designed way of eating or meals that are capable of working effectively with your temple, you start to glow up. You start to glow up. Your body responds differently. Those foods hit your body on a different frequency, and you start to see a different glow up of your body. Your body performs better. And then you start to realize, oh, I've been feeding myself with decay. And that is why you would always have to decay as well. This one is very obvious when you eat processed sugar. And there's that synergy between getting lean and spirituality. There is that synergy. They marry together. But most people who have not experienced both worlds cannot actually give you an insightful view of both worlds. I have experienced both, and I'm still experiencing both, and I don't intend to quit anytime soon, because it is a very lovely marriage and harmony of both worlds. Because once the temple is firm and strong and healthy, the Spirit of God can work effectively in a temple that is not bedridden. And that's the beauty. I have to wait, so this trailer has to go, so I don't end up shouting. So you now realize that the Spirit of God would function effectively in a temple that is healthy and fully charged. A body that is weak and cannot perform will struggle. And that's just the beauty. You start to see the synergies, and you start to realize, wow, that it is more spiritual than even the physical. But people never tend to see it that way, because most times, most people are one-legged. Most people are just walking with one leg. They are not walking with two legs, because if you are walking with two legs, it means stability. The getting lean and experiencing God spiritually, when you merge both worlds, it gives you stability. Because when you fast, then you now see the aspect of fasting now. When you fast, it heightens your spiritual senses. And most times, getting lean requires that you have to stay away from food at certain periods of the day, if you really know what you are doing. Most models they do fast. That is why they are lean as F. They are lean. And if you want to getting lean, somehow in one way or the other, you will find yourself fasting. You find yourself not eating at certain periods of the day, and find yourself eating at certain period of the day. You start to see food differently, but as well, and not as something that just quenches your hunger. And that's the beauty of getting lean. And then you check how it impacts your life as well. And once you start fasting, like I said, it will heighten your spiritual senses. Even as someone who is lean, if you start fine-tuning your frequency more towards the spiritual realm, you start to pick up certain things. You start to know certain things about people. That you can sense danger. You can sense danger. You can look at people and know if the person is friendly or if the person is evil. Your antenna, your spiritual antenna is heightened. A lot of people don't get to that point. but I just have to break it for you so you understand. Getting lean is more spiritual, but food is the obstacle. And these two words will teach you how to become a master of your desires, especially food, the desire to eat. That is why when you see people who are fat, they are spiritually insensitive. And it's crazy. Spiritually insensitive. I've not seen someone who is fat that ever prophesied. I don't think so. I've ever come across any fat person that ever prophesied. I'm not saying God can't use someone that is fat to prophesy, but I'm telling you the reality on ground. A lean person, someone who is lean and has mastered how to control their desire for food, is more likely to be in tune with the realm of the spirit. And that's why getting lean getting lean is more spiritual than you even think. So that's it, guys. I know everywhere is dark, like everywhere is dark. I just had to, then I must always make a video every day for you guys. So I hope this enlightens you and gives you an insight into the spiritual realm and into the physical as well. Don't play with getting lean. It's way spiritual than you think. So try as much as possible to get lean. It's beyond just the physical. It's beyond just the physical. It's a hard thing. That's why most people can't get lean. It's a problem. They can't control their desire for food. They can't. The people who can, they have the chances of actually always being in touch, in tune with the spiritual realm. So that's it, guys. We'll see in the next video and we have some more. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day and stay blessed. Bye, guys.